Comics Plus, what is going on? My name is Akasan. Unfortunately, it's about that time again. We're just streaming right here on Twitch. It's a messy day, guys. This information came in a little bit before I went to sleep. It was rumor at that time, but it now has been confirmed. And once again, it is my burden to sort of announce this officially on the channel here that Jason David Frank has sadly passed away at the age of 49. Most notably known for his role as the Green Ranger, White Ranger, and Dino Ranger. I think he was a Black Ranger. He was almost every Ranger. He was a very significant linchpin of the Power Rangers series in America, most notably for me as the Green Ranger, and I think for a lot of people, our childhood and such. But then he made a stunning return. He had such an impact as being an evil ranger, originally being evil, and then teaming up with the original Power Rangers, the original 5 Power Rangers, teaming up with them in limited situations as his power was needed to conserve his powers. This is where I learned the word conserve as a kid. I was like, what does conserve mean? Oh, okay, when Tommy had to conserve his power because the green candle was burning out and something like that, right? Then in a stunning return, the White Ranger would pop up, and it ended up being Tommy, which was crazy. And I remember when Kimberly fainted. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. So, you know, it's rough. It's rough to see. He also actually had a MMA, a brief MMA career, and you know, it's crazy. You know, Jesus didn't tap. That's what it was. It's crazy. So apparently, what we're hearing right now is that it's a suicide. That he actually committed suicide. He had been going through a rough divorce in the last couple of weeks, getting a divorce, and I guess that took a toll on him as well. Very sad news when you lose another one of your legends and such. He always seemed really popular. A lot of people in the industry that I've been talking to and a lot of the fans have told me they literally just met him like 3 weeks ago on the comic book con scene. He's always been heavily involved in all sorts of fandom type of events, and he's always been heavily supportive of the Power Rangers brand. Willing to really speak up and speak out when things weren't flowing a certain way. If you remember the adult Power Rangers story that they were doing, they asked him to be part of it, and he declined because he just felt like, you know, Power Rangers is ideally a show that kids should be able to watch. And, you know, while he was okay with it, somebody making something like that, he just knew he couldn't be a part of it. So, we don't really know exactly what the full details are as to why he has chosen to take his life. But, you know, maybe that's something we will never know. We may never know the full story about this. But it is very heartbreaking that we are losing another pillar of our childhood. But not just that, again, as I said, a linchpin of a linchpin of the Power Rangers American community and such. I hope he has now found the peace that he might have been struggling for, and I hope there isn't something more, a deeper reason to this, or some sort of conspiracy situation somewhat similar to Chester Bennington, right? But who knows? You know, something to keep in mind here is that suicide is an interesting situation, and it's a very shocking thing because it can happen to anybody. You just never really know. Chester Bennington is somebody that comes to mind as we saw footage of him the day before he committed suicide, and he was smiling, he was happy, he was laughing, he was playing with his kids. And it's kind of just like you just never really know, right? You never really know. how bad things can get, and when alcohol and other forms of intoxication is put into that mix, you just never know when it might be too late. And the best thing I can recommend to a lot of you guys is just make sure you reach out to those people that are around you. Make sure you especially, one thing I'll keep in mind is that when somebody passes, when somebody unfortunately dies, it's very important not just to reach out to get in touch with yourself, but also get in touch with the people around you that might also be grieving and suffering and things like that. Not just a little more than a week ago, we lost my idol, my hero, my reason for everything, Kevin Conroy. And thanks to all of you guys, the fandom, the community, the people at my job, all of you, but particularly all of you guys just reaching out to me, calling me, messaging me, giving condolences, really helped that week go by. Definitely the worst day of this year, and definitely the hardest week to get through. But hearing you guys and you guys giving your condolences, it really goes a long way. It really does. And I'm sure there's people out there that are feeling the same thing about Jason David Frank right now, that they might really need to hear that. And it might be a good idea to reach out to those people as well and really let them know that you're thinking about them. Because something to keep in mind is, like, Chester Bennington was suffering a lot from the passing, I believe of Chris Cornell, and that might have affected him a lot. Eddie Guerrero, when Eddie Guerrero unfortunately died of a heart attack, Chris Benoit was very much affected by that. Very, very much affected by that. And again, we just really don't know what was going through Chris Benoit's mind altogether. I mean, we've heard certain stories, but I'm sure that had a huge effect. If I recall, he did mention to a fellow friend right before he did what he did, was that he was going to go and be with Eddie. He was going to go. So I think that's the biggest takeaway here for this situation, is that we don't know. We don't have all the details. We don't know what the thing is, but yes, as DX is saying, depression can really create lots of things. There's been times where I've wanted to jump right in front of a train tracks in my younger days when breaking up with somebody and things like that, and I've had people talk me down from that ledge as well. So you just never know how, and it sounds crazy now to think that it got that bad, but at that time, that was reality. That was life. So keep that in mind. Jace, the Green Ranger, my memory of him when he came on the scene, the game changed for Power Rangers, man. He was the reason I actually grew my hair out. I didn't know that at that time as a kid. I didn't know that boys could have long hair and really pull it off. Like, teenagers could have long hair and really pull it off. And, he came out there at the time. I mean, now it sounds kind of goofy. But, he came out there with his evil laugh, and he was like, he'd be like, you Power Rangers are fun. And he's like, you Power Rangers are nothing against me. Beware the Green Ranger. I almost said Green Lantern. And he was just like it was just a goofy laugh. But at that time as a kid, I'm like, yo, this is scary. So if Kevin Conroy was my breaking in and mentoring of being a voice actor, it was JDF's laugh as a kid that made me think of, like, oh, I want to be an evil character. I want to do that. And I would be going around and being like, the bass in my voice had not come in by that, obviously at that point, but I was going around like, like that, So, and then I started growing my hair out, and I realized that, okay, black people can't have long wavy hair the same way JDF can, but I'll have to go a different route. And then that's when I started braiding my hair, and then eventually the red dreaded ones. So very interesting. Very interesting. Tommy was always my favorite, dude. Tommy Oliver, man. There will never be someone with as much influence as him within this type of time period, everything. I still teared up when they did a marathon for Power Rangers on Twitch maybe 2-3 years ago. They did a marathon. I tuned in right at the right time when Tommy showed up, whooped all their asses. And then when they teamed up at the end and, he's like, oh, man, can I really change? And then I remember Jason, the Red Ranger, was like, oh, man, Tommy, yeah, it would be great to have you here. Yeah, let's do it. And when they all teamed up together, woo, tears, baby. And Rita was pissed off. No. It's not the way it's supposed to happen. Anyways, my memories, y'all. Okay. Always talk to someone. There are people who deal with some of the same issues, and we aren't alone. That is more common than we care to admit or know. People tend to suffer in silence and close themselves off when they are hurting. It is at those times when we should reach out to those around us. Those closest to us want to help when we are in need. Very much so. Very much so. It is really weird that he is gone because for 30 years now, he's been the face of the Power Rangers franchise. So for him not to be around anymore and him not being at conventions, that's going to be really weird, and I'm heartbroken over this loss. Tommy Oliver was the GOAT Ranger by far. No other Ranger comes close. I love the sounds he made when he was fighting. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I think actually, honestly speaking, I think legitimately he was one of the few Power Rangers that could actually fight. Like he was actually had some martial arts training before he joined Power Rangers. And that's what made him even cooler, dude. When he showed up, I was like, yo, this dude can actually fight. He ain't just dancing, son. Yeah, man. I get it. And I mean, it was funny. It was kind of funny when he joined MMA. It was funny when he joined MMA, and I thought that he was going to be up here right when he was about to tap out. He pull out, we need Dragon Zord power now. Yeah, but no, it was funny. We all thought it was funny, but it just showed how competitive he was, and so. Oh well, man. Oh well. Rest in peace to the GOAT, man. That's it, guys. Red Red Nation, stand up, speak up. It's been a rough week for all of us, right? Childhood, 30 years as a Power Ranger, man. Welcome to my nightmare. Remember that? We'll talk to you on the next one, guys. We're out. Peace.